Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. And I know I'm on a few minutes early, but we're about to have a thunderstorm hit us. It's starting to, hearing the raindrops on the roof right now. So I wanted to get in here in case the thunderstorm came in and we couldn't get a signal or anything. So I'm on a little earlier. I know, catch you guys. Gotta keep you guys on your toes. Yes. So welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast, day number 1197. And it is the eve of one of the best conferences ever. So tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, we kick off the 4th annual The Leverage Conference. It is going to be phenomenal. We have some incredible speakers. I have the awesome honor of being the MC for the event and getting to introduce these amazing speakers. And I might even have just a little bit of a speaker slot in there for myself too on Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be amazing. This conference is, Deborah Thorne puts in a ton of work on this. She does, and she does an incredible job with the people, the speakers, the quality of the speakers that she gets in here. I am truly humbled by the quality of the speakers and the fact that I get to share a stage with them. The whole conference is virtual. In fact, I just got a text message from her, but she'll have to wait until I get back. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, it's going to be the most incredible conference ever. Every year, I got to go for the first time last year, and I was the announcer last year, and I got to hear some amazing speakers. She's got some of those speakers back and got some new ones, and I know most of the speakers, and I can tell you their presentations are going to be amazing, and they're going to blow your mind. And this conference is for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. So if you fall into those categories, come and join us. The link is scrolling across the bottom. I also have it in the description as well, at beforedirtnapleverage.com. Go there, grab your tickets. She even has a really cool program which includes a scholarship ticket for a donation for teenagers. So you can get teenagers coming this way as well, which is awesome. And I love promoting her, and I love supporting her Leverage Conference because the value that you get at the conference is, the value of the content at the conference is way more than what she charges for the conference. It is incredible. The value that you get is, this could very easily be up in a 5 to 6 figure. Okay, maybe a 5 figure. Should at least be a 4 figure, 4, 5, 6 figures. It should be up there with that because of the value of the content you're going to get at this conference. So please come join us. It's not too late to go buy a ticket. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. The first day we finish around, what did I do with the agenda? One moment, please, while I consult the agenda. So the first day we start at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we go until just after 4 p.m. Pacific time. On a Friday, we're back at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we go through till 5 p.m. Pacific time. And on Saturday, we start at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we go through till just after 3 p.m. Pacific time. So there's still plenty of time left at the end of each day to do things that you need to do. Because I was looking at this going, oh my gosh, I totally forgot I had the Leverage Conference going, and I signed up for the 7-week class. When am I going to get my study in? And then I got a copy of the agenda, and I thought, I got lots of time for study, which works out really, really well because my module for this week has been broken into 2 lessons. One is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The other one is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was like thinking, oh my gosh, I only have Tuesday to do lesson 1. But then I was looking at the schedule, and I thought, no, I got time. And for me, it doesn't start till 9 o'clock in the morning because I'm on Mountain Time, not Pacific Time. So I get a little extra time in there. And so far this week, I've been squeezing in just an hour each morning of going in, reading the announcements, looking at the discussion boards for the class, and all of that sort of stuff. And this is really cool because it's last week we were mining sources. This week we are mining information. So it's how to go in and pull the information out of the different sources. So now we know where to go to get the information. How do we extract it? And so we've got exercises in there where we've been given a worksheet, and it says, go to the census and we want you to pull out this information from the census. And it's knowing where on the census form to go to get that information. Does it have the information on there? Oh, and I forgot to report too. I got my grades back for my first module, 100%. I got an A. I am super excited about that. So all my worry about having to rationalize why I was choosing my answers didn't matter in the end. So I was super, super happy about that one. And so, yes, Leverage Conference tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. It is going to be amazing. If you can come, please come. Just go to Before the Dirt Nap, leverage.com, get your tickets. They start as low as $97, I think they are, is the lowest one, and goes up from there. And there's different packages. And there's ones that even get swag bags and all of that sort of stuff too. So they're really, really cool. And on one of them, the top tier one, you actually get to give a scholarship to a teenager. And I think they have the list of the teenagers for the scholarships. I'm not sure how that works, but I know that there is a donation that goes in there so that a teenager can come and enjoy, because she wants to encourage young people to be speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs as well. So, nurturing that younger generation, it is going to be fantastic. And looking at some of these people, I'm just sort of like, I am blown away, because I have heard these people speak before, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good. And we've even got a panel in there. Well, she's got Gina back again. Gina is her very, very dear friend who's in England, and they have a discussion across the pond, basically. What their topic is, I don't know. Did she put it there? We've got round tables as well, so it's going to be awesome. I know that they have panels on there and that sort of stuff as well. But they've got some great, great speakers coming in. Yeah, I can't wait to hear them. I've got my notebook ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to take lots of notes, and at the same time MC the whole thing. I just go in there and I am me, and I am sparkly, and I just go be myself. So it's gonna be fun. But anyway, so yes, so back to study time. I've got my study times now worked into my calendar around the conference. This one's going to be a lot. There's a lot more crammed into this week's modules. There's more pages to read in the books than there was last week. But it's going to get done. But I'm excited because I love going into vital records. So we're talking about birth, death, marriage certificates, registrations, baptismal records, what information you can extract out of those, census reports. When you see like the US Census, or state census, England Census, Irish Census, whatever country it is, what information you can extract from the census based on the year, because this is the weird part. Every 10 years when they go and do one of these censuses, they change the questions. Like they will have name, age, are you married, widowed, or single, and who is the head of the house since in 1850, 1851, depending which country you're in. They've been asking your relationship to the head. Who is the head of the house, and what is your relationship to that person? They've had questions in there from the 1900, I think it was 1900, where they put on the US Census one, they put the question there for the women: how many children have you had? How many pregnancies have you had? And how many children are still living? So it could be some people who have had, 10 have given birth to 10 children, and there may only be 8 of them that are still living. So it's asking questions like that, which is kind of cool, because then you can go back in, and based on the number that is in there, you can look at your family tree and go, oh, we're missing a couple of people. So you can use that information as a base to help you see if you're missing anyone in the family tree that you might have to go and hunt for and find those extra records. Oh, they had 10 kids. Oh, I only know about 5. oh, they had 2 that have passed away, and we've still got another 3. Well, we've got to find out who they are. So that's when you go to other census reports and start looking and digging and all of that sort of thing. So, all of these records, birth, death, marriage, baptismal, census reports, if you know how to extract the information, then it gives you an idea of where to go and look next. On census reports, they would have, sometimes it'd be the question about, do you rent or own the property, the dwelling that you are in? Some of them will say, we're asking about, did you work last week? How many hours did you work? Are you a business owner or not? Which is very important to know, because if you have ancestors that are business owners, what traits did they pass down that may have come from them from being a business owner? And I was thinking about the other day, I thought, even farmers, you can learn a lot from farmers, because they technically are business owners, those that farm, because they've got to look at their expenses, at their stock, at their crops, and figure out, when to plant, when to harvest, what to do if storms are coming in, what to do with their stock, whether they are cows or, whether it's cattle or sheep or pigs or whatever their stock is. If they've got them free range on the range, do they bring them down for the winter time, for the winter months? If you've got sheep, then you're looking at sharing timetables and getting sharers on the books to come in to do the sharing for you. And then you're going to have those that are the sorters that take the fleece and sort it all out and get it into the bales and all of that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of working pieces. When you look at a farm, there are a lot of working pieces, a lot of scheduling that has to be done, and a lot of making sure that you're not spending more than what's coming in, and knowing what the current stock prices are, what the current crop prices are. So you're really, when you look at it, it's a huge business, farming. People just think of, oh, he's just a farmer. No, you got to look beyond. He's just a farmer. Oh, he's got a dairy farm. Yeah, no, look beyond that, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background. I got to stay with a couple for a week when I was a teenager, and they had a chicken farm. And well, I don't really think you call it a chicken farm, but they had chickens. The whole thing was the chickens, and they would get the chickens in at a certain age, and they had them in these big long buildings, and they basically free ranged around inside the buildings. You couldn't let them outside, but they were not caged, unless you call the building a cage. But they were in a building. They were not caged, and they grew them up to a certain age, and then they were taken off. And these people grew them to a certain age, and then the chickens were picked up and taken off to wherever they had to go, and they got paid a certain amount per head of chickens. And they were constantly having to walk through the sheds, and these were huge sheds. And they were cute little fluffy things too. I got to walk in there one time. I have never seen so many chickens in one place. And they're like, oh, just walk through, they'll move. I'm like, but I'm going to stand on. They're like, nope, they'll move. I'm like, okay. And it was dusty in there. They had these big expel air fans to help pull the dust out of there, because they're kicking up dust as they're walking from all the sawdust and stuff that's on the floor. When they empty out the sheds, there was a whole process they had to go through to clean and sanitize the sheds and get it ready for the next batch of chickens to come in. And it was a very interesting process to watch. And I was there to help the wife, because she had a 6-month-old baby, and she had three boys. And so I was helping out in the house. So I was helping with the housework, helping get the meals ready, helping to get the morning and afternoon teas ready, or the morning break and the afternoon break, for those that don't know what morning and afternoon tea is. But we always got to sit down together for the breaks and for the meals. And there was quite a lot of talk about the farming and that. And I was like, that is so, like, and people just think of farmers as farmers and don't think of them being very bright and all that. When you hear the stuff that they have to do behind the scenes that you don't get to see, like when they're walking through the chickens, they're looking for any chickens that may have died, and they've got to get them out of there as quick as possible and get them sent off to see why did they die, because it could affect the entire flock of chickens that they've got in. Or it could be that other chickens, for whatever reason, pick that one to death. There's all sorts of stuff going on in there. So why did that particular chicken calf, whatever. Why did they die? Was it diseased? And they've got to get the results back. They get those results back really, really quickly, because if it affects the entire herd, if it's an infectious disease, then they've got to look at the entire herd. It's going to wipe out their herd. It's going to wipe out, some of their income and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, farmers are not just farmers; they are businessmen. They may not think of themselves as businessmen, but they are running a business. And there's a whole bunch. I mean, there's the, getting the vets in to look at everything and check the animals over and the birds and everything. And that's a whole process in there. And my hat's off to the farmers that have to deal with that, because, and the ones that grow the crops as well, that, grow the corn and the fruits and the vegetables and all of that, anything that the agricultural ones, because, they could have an early freeze come through that wipes out their crop. Or have a late freeze that comes through and wipes out their crop. So, it's a gamble. That's got to be stressful. I mean, yeah. And I have farmers in my background. I've got farmers in my ancestry. A long line of them. There's one part of the family that's still involved with farming these days, although not in England or Scotland or Ireland, but here in New Zealand. Back in New Zealand, I've got family that is still, that descend from farmers and are still farming today. So yeah, that's that. So I get to pull that sort of information out of census reports. I can, there's even some agricultural census that you can get, horticultural ones, manufacturing census. There's all sorts of, there's not just population census, there's also a lot of different business censuses that you can look at as well. So we get the fun of extracting all that information. So that's it from me, basically. What do we got today? Oh, tonight we're watching The Man with the Golden Gun. Last night we got to watch Live and Let Die. It's one of my least favorite Bond movies, I guess, because it's got the tarot cards in there and the black magic, and I'm not into that scene and I don't understand it. So that one kind of scares me a little bit on some places, but especially with the snakes. When they bring the snakes out, that's it. I'm gone. I am not a snake person. I'm like barely watching. How's Bond going to get out of this situation and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's one of my least favorite Bond movies. But tonight I get to watch The Man with the Golden Gun, and the question I have in the chat is, how does Scaramanga make his? What does Scaramanga use to make his gun? I think that's what I put in there. Yeah, what does Scaramanga use to create his golden gun? And you're probably thinking, used to make a gun? Yeah, because he doesn't actually walk around with a gun in his... Well, he kind of has a gun in his pocket. You just don't know it's a gun in his pocket until he assembles it before he fires. He always assembles his gun before he fires it, before he uses it. And if he's going to a situation where he knows he's going to need a gun, he will have it assembled, ready to go. But if he was like flying through an airport or anything, he would get it through... He would get it through the scanners. He would get it on the plane. No problem at all. So for those of you who don't know, you've got to go watch and find out how he makes his gun. For those of you who do know, you know what I'm talking about. But when I post the pictures when we start the movie, there'll be another question there as well, because this has, and I have to tell you, this movie, The Golden Man with the Golden Gun, I like it because Scaramanga lives on this island full of caves and things, and he's got this beautiful house that is set up inside these mountains on this little island that he had, or basically this big rock. And it's just a really cool place. It's isolated. It's an isolated island. It's private. He owns the entire island, and he has this beautiful house that is built in the caves, in the mountains and things. It's really cool. But this movie has one of the best stunts in James Bond history. Out of all the stunts that they do out of the 25 movies, the stunt that they have in this movie, they rank up. I personally rank it right up the top there, because it is a phenomenal stunt. And if you ever get to see the specials, the special features that come with the movies and stuff, they actually talk about that stunt, how it was all set up, how they and the guy says, I'm only doing this, and the stunt driver, whose name I cannot remember, did an incredible job. They did it in one take, And he got out of there and says, I'm not doing that again. He said, I hope you got it because I'm not doing it again. But it is an incredible, incredible stunt. Yeah, I I love watching that movie for that stunt. I also love watching that movie because there is a character that appears in there, which when I first saw the movie, I thought, what the heck's he doing in here? So there was a return of a character from a previous movie who appears in this movie, and it's like, wait, hang on, you were in that one, and now you're in this. What? But he adds a little more humor to this movie as well. So yeah, this one has some really good one-liners. And I mean, James Bond movies always have good one-liners in it. Like in the beginning of Live and Let Die, he gets given the watch that if he turns it, it becomes a magnet. And so he actually has it, in his hand like this, and he turns it on. And this is right near the beginning. And he had a girl hiding in the closet when the boss turned up and told him he had to go do this assignment and thing. And Moneypenny got to see who the woman was and made sure that the boss didn't know that the woman was in the closet. And so he pulls the woman. So after they leave, James Bond pulls the woman out of the closet, turns the magnet on, and unzips her dress behind her. She goes, oh, you have such a delicate touch. And he turns around and says, oh, it's just sheer magnetism. I love the one-liners. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to go watch The Man with the Golden Gun. Heat up my quiche and then go watch The Man with the Golden Gun. So have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. And remember, come join us tomorrow for the Leverage Conference. It is going to be amazing. And just go to beforedirtnapleverage.com and you can get your tickets. Okay, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you back tomorrow night for a recap on day 1 of the Leverage Conference so you can see what you missed, maybe. We'll give you a recap on The Man with the Golden Gun, and what else we're going to do? I'll let you know how the studying's going to, because I don't get to watch James Bond unless I've done my study time for the day. So have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. He konera.